O my Lord, make me brave, and make my task easy for me.
Have faith, step onto the cloud of Islam, and you will discover the light of Iman. Proclaim this message entrusted to you, and the cloud of Islam will carry you.
Injil is the revelation, the wahi that Allah gave to Hazrat Isa. The message is the Injil, the message is the Zabur, not the books that they are conveying today. Therefore Allah sends another revelation to supersede what is there. So it's the principle we believe in, not in a book, in a form. You have the word of the prophet, you have the word of the historian, and you have pornography, all in one book. Now you can't take the book and say this is the book of God. In Islam, we have Kalamullah, the word of Allah, the Quran. It is only Allah's Kalam. The only religious book on the face of the earth which says don't touch that stuff is the Quran. The Quran is a touchstone of finding out what is right and what is wrong. If this was the word of God, you couldn't have thrown it out. God would have protected his book, as he tells us, promises us in the Holy Quran. Say, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. That it is for us to send down the revelation, and it is for us to protect it. This is his promise, and he has done the job. He's protected his book. Here, everyone, 7 books thrown out. Here, chunks and chunks are being thrown out. By who? By themselves. It is for us to take this up, congratulate them, and bring them towards Islam. They are coming towards Islam, but they are dragging their feet. Encourage them. They are dragging their feet like cripples. I said, no, brother, come. Ahlan wa sahlan. We are very good at that. We did it to the Jews for 1,000 years. You know that? When there were pogroms against the Jews in Europe, in Poland, Germany, France, England, they were killing the Jews, murdering and raping their women and burning their homes. Every Easter, the Christians reminded themselves that these are Christ killers. They kill our God and they kill them, burn their homes and rape their women. And they ran, and they come to Muslim lands, and the Muslims say, Ahlan wa sahlan. Come, most beautiful words of welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. And they came, and they lived with us for 1,000 years. And in 1,000 years, we didn't convert 1,000 Jewish families to Islam. This is how good we are. Why? They are following Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. They are the, they are the Ahlul Kitab. Allah is telling you, tell them, Ya Ahlul Kitab, ta'alaw. No, you didn't do that. He said, let us remain the status quo. No, don't disturb them, your cousins. So now, this is what you are paying for now. Neglect 1,000 years. You had the opportunity to talk to the Jews. You could have absorbed them. Intermarry, this, that there wouldn't be any Jews to be found anywhere, in the Middle East at least. No, you didn't do that. You kept them where they are. So now you pay the price. This is the revenge, as if Allah is taking on his blood. You didn't do it. So now look, I'll make them to sit on your head. Just tabdil qawman ghayrakum. Says, substitute in your place another people. Thumma la yakunu amsalakum. And they won't be like you. There are things in the book, stories and stories. Our brother Swaggart, he writes beautiful books. His works are very powerful. Books, pornography, books, Sodom and Gomorrah, Qawm-e-Lut. His book, incest. His book, alcohol, America's greatest problem. His book, homosexuality, its cause and its cure. Very powerful books. If you have access to them, if you can buy them, I say buy them. Very good. He, in these books, is talking like a Muslim. His condemnation of evil is like that of a Muslim. Maybe he doesn't go far enough. His theology is wrong. But his ethics and morality on these topics, I can't improve on it. I can't improve on that. His ethics and morality is good. He tantalizes people. He mesmerizes people. People can eat out of his hand. Like you call a dog a puppy, and the dog comes along and licks your hand and eats away what is in your hand. He can do that to you. A master of speech. Allah has given it to him. But he is using it wrong theology. I can't deal with everything, but let me give you a little cursory glance at some of these things. Incest. Incest is the dark stain on our society, American society. He says in the book, he says, incest has reached epidemic proportions. It's like an epidemic. In America, you know what is incest? Anybody who doesn't know what is incest, please put up your hand. Don't be ashamed. If you don't know, then I have to explain. If you all know, then I can carry on. If you don't know what incest is, please put up your hand. Jazakallah. You see, adultery, fornication, is you go along out of marriage with somebody else's wife or daughter. That's zina. But if you go and have relationship with your own mother, that is incest. You have it with your own daughter, that's incest. You have it with your sister, is incest. If you have it with your daughter-in-law, is incest. Now you know, everybody knows now what incest is. You have with somebody else's wife or daughter out of wedlock, that is zina, adultery. You have it with your mother, with your daughter, with your daughter-in-law, with your sister, that's sex, relationship. That is incest. And in the Holy Bible, in this holy book of God, in inverted commas, I hope now you understand the meaning of inverted commas. In this holy book of God, there are 10 cases of incests. 10. 10 different couplings of these cases in the holy book of God. So what's the purpose? In the first book of the Bible, there are 5 cases of incest, 5 couplings. In the first book of the Bible, Genesis, there are 5 different incest cases. That book is a booklet. And in that booklet, the first book, 5 cases of incest. As if it is a textbook on incest. If you didn't know what types of incest you can commit, you read the first book and it'll tell you, you can do it with your daughters, you can do it with your mother, you can do it with your daughter-in-law, you can do it with your sisters. It'll tell you. This is the book of God. I said in inverted commas. I knew 4 cases, my own study. I get this little book, he gives me 10. But the 4 cases, he gives me 1 more, which I didn't see in the first book. 4 I knew, he gives me 1 more. He is my teacher, he taught me that. There's 1 extra case of incest which I didn't know. It speaks there about Lut alayhi salam. After the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, he goes and lives in a cave, says the Bible, in a place called Zor, him and his 2 daughters. And the eldest daughter tells the younger that our father is old. You know, he's gone cold. And there's not another man on earth who can come in unto us in the manner of men. You know what men do? That there's nobody else to do that to us. So come, let us make our father drink wine. I'm only reading the Bible, the Holy Bible, word for word. If anybody has it, open it and see, word for word. Say, our father is old, and there is not another man on earth who can come into us in the manner of men. So come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him so that we may preserve the seed of our father. We want to preserve the father's seed. And the eldest daughter makes the father drink wine, and she goes and lies with him, and he knew not when she lay down, nor when she arose. He didn't know. He was too dead drunk, says the Bible. Then, next night, the elder daughter tells her sister, he said, look, yesterday night, means last night, I slept with my father. Tonight you do the same. So they repeated the performance. And thus, just like that, Zalika, just like that, both the daughters of Lot were with child by the father. Incest, children of incest. And the firstborn gave birth to a son, and they named him Moab. And the other one gave birth to a son, and they call his name Ammon, from which we get the Ammonites and the Moabites. In the Bible, Ammonites and the Moabites. When the children of Israel, when they were in the Sinai and when they were told to go and conquer Palestine, they were told, go and kill the Palestinians, men, women and children. Even sucklings are not to be spared. Little babies suckling the mother's breast not to be spared. Kill them all. But the Ammonites and the Moabites thou shalt not touch, because they are the children of Lord. Blessed. Father having relationship with his daughters, those children are blessed. But you Palestinians, you Arabs, rubbish, kill them all. This merciful God is telling the Jews, kill them all, men, women and children. Not even sucklings. But he's more merciful some other time. In the book, in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 31. He is more merciful to the Palestinians. Now he says, kill them all, men, women and children, even donkeys are not to be spared. Kill the donkeys even. I said, what sin did the donkeys commit? That this God of mercy wants to kill even donkeys. What have they done? But kill even the donkeys. But virgins you must save for yourself. Women which no man has known and had no sexual experience, that woman you must save for yourself. And they saved for themselves, says the Holy Book, in inverted commas, 32,000 Palestinian virgins for themselves. And 30 and 2 was for the Lord. Lord means God. 32 was his share, God's share, out of those virgins, Palestinian virgins. I'm asking, what does the Lord do with virgins? What does he do? You tell me, what does the Lord do with virgins? Except in the name of the Lord, the priest will enjoy them. And how do you know that the woman is a virgin? A soldier in the field, he comes across a young woman. How does he verify? I leave it to your imagination. You say, Book of God, 10 cases of incest, and every incest case that I can quote you, blessed, blessed, blessed. They're blessed. You see, we tell stories to our children, fables, fairy tales, imagination. Fox and the grapes. You know the story? The fox, he sees a vine of grapes, a bunch of grapes hanging, and he jumps, wants to get grapes. You know, foxes don't go for grapes, you know that. You know that. Foxes don't, but this is a fable. Fable. So he jumps, and every time he jumps, he's losing his energy, and he can't reach it, so, and he's fed up. The fox is fed up, so he says, look, sour grapes. We all do that. You know that? When you can't get a thing, you say, it's no good, it's rubbish. Sour grapes. So we are telling our children these fables to build a moral, a lesson. Don't be like that greedy fox. When you can't get a thing, it's bad, it's sour. Or like that greedy dog. He found a bone. He picks up the bone in his mouth and is crossing a wooden bridge over a river. And he sees his own reflection in the water. Thinking that there is another dog with a bone in his mouth and is greedy for the other dog's bone, says, boo! And he loses what he has. So he says, my son, don't be like that. What God gave you, little bit, la in shakartum la azidannakum. He says, be grateful, Allah will give you more. Don't be greedy for the other dog's bone. Morals, morals. We're telling fairy tales to build morals in our children. Without morals, the thing is immoral. If there's no moral, you're wasting time. Dr. Vernon Jones, an American psychologist of great repute. You know, the Americans are great. I tell you, I can quote Americans, what they say, beautiful things. An American psychologist of great repute. He carried out experiments on groups of school children to whom certain stories were being read. And he says, his conclusion, that these stories made certain slight but permanent changes in character, even in the narrow classroom situation. The type of stories you tell creates the type of mentality that they have. It's a foregone thing. You tell your children about jinn, bhoot, spirits. You go outside, there's something, they will catch you. Shh, you see your child, how it behaves. Darkness, they can't go out. Even with a torch, won't go out. Why not? Because you talk about jinn, bhoot, these spirits. I don't know, say, ruh, what you call it? Spooks, spook. I don't know what you say in Arabic. But spook. You keep on telling your children about spook. They become spooky. So whatever you tell them, incest. Little wonder that it has reached epidemic proportions in America. And in my country, 8% of all white people, they commit incest with their own daughters. 1 in every 12 is cohabiting with his own daughters. These are the loving fathers. In America, maybe that percent or more. So it's the type of stories that you read will create the type of mentality that you have. You keep on reading incest, you're going to commit incest. It is not the book of God. The book of God, for what reason, is telling you about 10 cases of incest. You tell me. What's the motive? What's the reason? God to tell you about Lot did it to his daughter. That's what the Bible says. Reuben, he did it to his mother. Judah, the father of the Jewish, he did it with his daughter-in-law. Ibrahim alayhi salam, astaghfirullah, he did it with his sister. And on and on and on. For what reason? No reason. No morals. I say it's immoral. Can't be the book of God. Alcohol. Very strong condemnation. He tells us, gives us figures here. He says there are 11 million drunkards in America. In my country, they call them alcoholics. They don't say drunkard. Drunkard is an insulting term, especially the white man. You can't say he's a drunkard. You say he's an alcoholic, meaning he's sick, poor fellow. This is a kind of sickness he's got. 11 million drunkards, he says, and 44 million heavy drinkers. And he says, and I agree, we'll have to agree with him. He said, I make no difference between the drunkards and the heavy drinkers. To him, they are the same. In Islam, we'll say, I say one step further, even your social drinkers. Islam will include even your social drinkers. See, those is not just a nip or a thought. Because our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whatever intoxicates in greater quantity is forbidden even in smaller quantity. No excuse for a nip or a thought. He said, cursed is he who grows grapes for brewing. If your intention is that from this fruit, you're going to brew, make wine, alcohol, you are an accursed person. If you plant fruit trees for eating the fruit, you are blessed. For selling the fruit, you are blessed. But if you plant it with the idea of brewing it, you are an accursed person. He said, cursed is he who grows grapes for brewing. Cursed is he who crushes it. Cursed is he who bottles it. Cursed is he who sells it. And cursed is he who drinks it. No excuse for the Muslim to have any dealings with this stuff. Islam has the answer. Islam has the answer to your problem. You talk about don't drink too much. When does the guy know when he has reached too much? When he already starts taking. When? You got now 55 million, 11 million drunkards and 44 million heavy drinkers and others in the line, in the queue. They're following the same way, whom you call your social drinkers. Islam has the answer. It's the only religion, it's the only religious book on the face of the earth, the Quran, which says, don't touch that filthy, dirty thing. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. It says, oh, you who believe, innamal hamru, most certainly intoxicant, wal maisiru, and gambling, wal ansabu, and fortune telling, wal azlamu, and idol worship, rizum min amal shaitan, are an abomination of Satan's handiwork. Fajtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun. Shun such abomination that you may prosper. The only religious book on the face of the earth which says don't touch that stuff is the Quran. And Islam teaches don't touch it. The solution to the problem, become Muslim. And I end, my dear brothers and sisters, I know there's so much here. I know what I'm going to do there. You see, I'm supposed to speak for an hour and my opponent speak for an hour. Now I get the news that he's got cold feet. He's talking about 20 minutes. Can you imagine speaking for 20 minutes on 66 books? The foundation of his faith, the Holy Bible. He's going to speak for 20 minutes and he's now want to gag me also for 20 minutes. Control me, straitjacket me for 20 minutes. This book, 20 minutes? I don't know what's going to happen, but we are going through with it, inshallah. We will press. The condition of the contract was when I left South Africa, speak for an hour each. Now when I'm here, I get the news the guy's gone down to 20 minutes. And maybe like a school children. You know, he wants to have a school children's debate. There are 20,000 people, they come from hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, and he says for 20 minutes listen to Swagat and 20 minutes listen to Deedat. I'll end with this. He hasn't written a book yet. Out of the 30, one of the pressing problems of America is surplus women. Surplus women. In America today, there are 7.8 million more women than men. If every man in America got married, there'll still be 7.8 million women who can't get husbands, if they marry. In the city of New York alone, there are 1 million more women than men. 1 million, more women than, and they are hunting for men. They are doing the hunting now, not men. And men are hiding. 1/3 of them are gays, sodomites, qawmilut, 1/3. With 1 million extra women, 1/3 of your population is gay, sodomites, qawmilut, and 98% of your prison population is men, and men get cold feet for so many different reasons. You know that? Some of the my young men I come across say, hey, are you married? He says, no. I say, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? I say, no. I say, come on. I'll take you Mr. So-and-so's daughter. Very good. I says, all right. And I take him, and everything is getting ready. Preparations is that they agreed, and this guy gets cold feet. Men get cold feet for so many different reasons. You want me to give you details? Men get cold feet. They get frightened. They want to marry, and they back out. You know that? They say, yes, I want to marry, and he backs out. Like a woman. Chickens out. So chickens out. Men. So can you imagine the problem? If every man got married, there'll still be 7.8 million. With 1/3 of your population is gay, sodomites, homelud, your problem, can you imagine? They're literally going to the dogs. I'm telling my Arab brother, all right, it might sound like a joke, but many serious things are said in jest, joking here, and pass it on to you. You'll take it. I hope my sisters don't mind. If they mind, don't curse me. You know, you can say, Deedat is a bad fellow, but don't curse me. I'm telling my Arab brother, your countries are sparsely populated, hardly. Saudi Arabia, such a vast expanse, such riches, and no manpower. With all the manpower you're importing, still not enough. Same thing to your UAE, no manpower. I says, why don't you go to, instead of going to Bombay and Beirut, and France and London, Paris and London, why don't you go to New York and solve the Americans' problem? I tell you, wallah, they love you for it. Each of you bring 4 for each. And it's cheap, wallah, 4 for each. And increase the ummah. You can't do propagation, you can't do dawah, do procreation. You'll be increasing the ummah. You know, get pleasure and increase the ummah. Do it that way. You solve the problem and you solve your problem. We need more population and they have to get rid of the surplus women. Solve their problem, solve yours, and they'll bless you for it. So, Mr. Chairman is not here. Ladies and gentlemen, with these words, I now leave this meeting open to questions. Maybe there are a lot of things that you want to know about this topic of the Bible, or about any other thing relating to Islam and Christianity. I am your servant, I am at your disposal. I need your prayers. In this, alhamdulillah, Allah has given me knowledge. Knowledge enough, inshallah, to knock the Jalut's brain. Allah has given me that knowledge. What I need is your dua, your prayer. That may Allah Bari Ta'ala, you know, keep me going for a little while longer, that I can serve Islam, and that I may share with you, you know, some of these little knowledge that I have acquired, that you may also in turn go and serve the Deenul Islam. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
It's not a question, it's a word I would like to say, and I would like to say it in English, because it's meant for you, Brother Ahmed Deedat. It's about Jimmy Swaggart. For those who haven't seen him before, it's difficult to form an opinion about how he acts, how he behaves. I believe, after seeing him once in the United States, that if the Jews have paid $1,000 million to form such a person, to say only what he said in one lecture, they would have been well paid. يعني لو اليهود دفعوا $1,000 $1,000,000,000 مشان يهيئوا شخص مثل هذا اللي ما قاله في محاضرة واحدة لأخذوا الثمن تماما. I was in the States as a guest of American company, and every evening they would come take us for dinner outside. One evening I was in the hotel and they opened the television. There was Jimmy Swaggart there. And he was, you stood here and you said you lecture, but I didn't see you move 1 meter here or 1 meter there. He was carrying the microphone, moving like a comedian or a dramatic actor, bowing himself here, making his hair like that. And he was talking about 11 stars.